So you have to wonder, now that Rey has hit waitlist, is it possible that I have the inside scoop as to what's going to go on waitlist next? And it's probably not the figure that you're imagining. And I could tell you right now that it's a few figures. I've got the blue Spotchka right here. Let's see if it fires up my Dark Jedi powers. And let's dive into all of this right now. Alright, and welcome everybody to another episode of the Market Value Chart Show right here at 6 Scale Cantina. So before we go ahead and dive into this episode, I will tell you that I will be live on the Man of Hot Collectibles show this coming Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. This Friday it will be Dante's turn, and I will certainly be on the panel. He will have a whole plethora of guests, so you don't want to miss that this coming Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. And also, that's not all. The Dark Jedi, Aries Tarrington, will be live this coming Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern. That's right. I am coming back every other week to Saturdays, and I will have the Market Chart Show live this coming Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Absolutely, you don't want to miss that. And I look forward to hanging out with you all basically this whole weekend. All right, so let's get into this episode, my friends. Look, Rey has hit waitlist. And I've got so many messages from this past weekend, and we did address it on the live show from this past Friday. But no surprise to me for sure. Very low supply, very high demand. And as I pointed out on that outstanding Live and Raw, where we had 6 people, including me, on that panel from this past Friday, we talked about how on within the secondary market, that the Reys within the secondary market are all very, very high and steady, with a couple of them still rising. So that in and of itself really told me that the Rey from the Rise of Skywalker was certainly going to hit waitlist sooner than later. And very, very interesting on this particular figure, and we're going to talk about it a little bit before we dive into what is actually going to hit waitlist next. I can tell you right now, don't think Kylo. We're going to get into Kylo. But there are Star Wars figures that are up for pre-order right now, or in stock, I'm not going to give it away, that are going to go on waitlist so quick. So I want you to keep that in mind. But first, let's cap off this Rey. And, pulling this up onto the screen, it's on waitlist. And you can see right here. And I don't even know, I got this little box that says 1,769 people are viewing this collectible. And you have to wonder how much interest, because this did hit waitlist, there is going to be, how much demand for this figure there is going to be within the secondary market over the next several months, over the next year, and really what I'm interested in is really over the next several years. What is the prospect for this figure? But removing this little pop-up that came on, that's very interesting indeed. You can see here on the screen, this figure has hit waitlist, but again, low supply, high demand, because the other figures which were produced in so much more volume have a high demand. Certainly this one was going to have a high demand. And if you remember, I pointed out when I first started warning about this, when I put the red alerts on this figure, that I said that she would go on waitlist before Kylo would. And I also mentioned that they probably made more Kylos than they did Reys. Now, I can tell you right now, I'm getting all kinds of messages. How is she doing in the secondary market? It just happened. It just happened, and people, collectors, are all weighing in their options. We're still collecting data in on this particular figure. I can tell you right now that this figure, right off the bat, according to everything that I'm seeing, is already a $300 tier range figure within the secondary market. Now, I'm still waiting for data to have an exact number. And whether it actually is or not, it's certainly going to be. It's going to be way over that and way over 400 in time to come. But right now I'm seeing it at $300 and still waiting for data. But you can pull some things up here onto the screen. And her head sculpt has been selling really, really well. And just from when this was already on waitlist from September 19th, the head sculpt here, $100 for this head sculpt. But, when you look at this head sculpt here, I'll kind of use this person's auction here. When you have this figure at hand and you look at it here, this just absolutely, why is this figure selling? Sure, the accessories have something to do with it. Sure, the low supply has something to do with it. But quite frankly, you get more accessories with the best car, Mandalorian. It's really, this is for me, and for a lot of collectors, a candidate for figure of the year for Star Wars. It just captures Daisy Ridley so well. And I could scroll through. I mean, unbelievable. When you just look at the profiles on this particular figure, it's like you have Daisy Ridley in your hand. Wow. All these views. And remember, each one of these are individually, are hand-painted by individuals. So there's human error. Not every one of these Hot Toys, every one of these head sculpts are unique. When you factor in the human error, it's not made just by machines. Wow. And that's what you're dealing with here. I think the most factor is, wow, this is by far the superior version for a lot of collectors anyway. There's certainly some that prefer the older ones, and I certainly can understand that. Absolutely. For me, wow. I mean, just look at that. Well, and then they got the regular pictures in there. I mean, you got the head sculpt selling for about $100. And I can tell you right now, so many listings for this figure over $400. But there are a lot of US sellers, including some reputable ones. And one right here, Hot Wars Toys, which I bring up on many of the videos, has this listed at about $310, make an offer. Actually, I could tell you right now that this seller has been selling these even while they were in stock for $300, $315. And this particular seller, along with some other ones that I flash on there, they usually have the market right. Make the best offer. Usually about $10, you get $5 or $10, they'll work with you. So having this at $300 is pretty much where I see it. Now, there's a lot of auctions out there for 400 plus. Well, it's not there yet, and not even close. You're going to be able to pick this up probably right now $275, sometimes $270. You'll pick it up at $300. You'll pick it up a little bit over that. It's going to average around about $300. But I'm getting, if you're going to ask me, Should I pick this up now that it's over retail? At whether it's between $270 and $330? Should I pick it up, Aries? Well, not if you're not interested in the figure. But I am interested in the figure, Aries. I just didn't think it would sell out so quick. Is it worth me buying it and I have the money? And I say yes, because I am telling you right now that this figure, when you're going ahead and you're taking a look at The Last Jedi Rey, which on the market value chart at 6scalecantina.com is somewhere around 320, 330. We'll pull it up here in a second. But when you have this figure, right when this is already on waitlist and going on waitlist and low stock warnings and, continually selling for over $300, not including shipping, not including taxes. You're seeing it with the Resistance Rey, which was an exclusive, very highly sought after. Forget about the Rey and BB-8 set, very, very highly sought after. Of course, the Rey without BB-8, for whatever reason, that figure, you can get that very, very cheap. But all these Reys go for a lot. And, for a lot of collectors, not everybody, when you take a look at these Reys, for me, not even in the same ballpark as far as which one is the more superior version. And for some collectors, this Rey Rise of Skywalker, absolutely, and you could see this is my individually hand-painted Hot Toys Rey. I showed you at auction with that head sculpt on there. It's just very, very well done. A huge surprise from those near awful pictures from the original prototype. So I think it took a lot of people by storm. A lot of collectors by storm. And they made these in very low numbers. And that's what you're seeing here. So if you're wondering right now if it's still a deal to pick up a Rey for around $300, you may want to go pick it up now, because there's going to be a time where it surpasses the Rey and BB-8 behind it here, and it surpasses the Rey from The Last Jedi, and you're going to eventually see it crawl slowly up the $300 low tier range, and then around $330, and then around $350, and then it's going to get close to $375. And then it's going to breach the $400 tier range in time to come. And then you know the story from there. I firmly believe that you're looking at a future GRAIL, because the head sculpt and the figure turned out way better than many people anticipated. Are the accessories a factor? Yes. They do come with a lot of accessories. On top of that, you got the yellow lightsaber, which was a surprise. And I guess they just didn't want to show that, perhaps, when they first showed the figure, because they didn't want to give away the movie. There could be many reasons. I think that's one of them. The other reason it's doing well, because it's very low supply. Low supply comes with a lot of stuff. But make no mistake, for a lot of collectors, not everyone, but for a lot, this is a really magnificent head sculpt. Anyway, I want to point out that everybody is asking me now, okay, what about Kylo? And how fast is Rey going to climb up? Don't expect the Rey to just climb up and become a GRAIL. It's going to take time. I think it's going to be over several years. You're going to see that rise up, just like you're seeing all the other figures rise up. And with Kylo, I pointed out way back when I first started warning about these figures that he wasn't going to sell out as fast as Rey. And he hasn't. So, but now it almost seems, it's like Aries, Kylo's got to be next. Possible. Yes, it's possible. Let me drink some of this spotchka. But are there others that are going to hit waitlist before Kylo? Let's dive into it. Let's dive into it. And what I want to do here is let's go ahead and go to everything best-selling wise on sideshow.com and sort it out just Star Wars and just Hot Toys. Let's take a look at some of these here and see what's going to go on waitlist next. And one of the very interesting things is let's go ahead. Rey, remember, you could only put 3 in your cart. Let's go to the armor. And let's go ahead and pre-order the armor. And let's go ahead and see how many of the armor I can put in my cart. And I could only put 3. Just like that, Rey. And you have to wonder, is it possible that this armor is in the same boat as that Rey from the Rise of Skywalker? And I say, yes. Not only that, the Mandalorian is way more popular right now than anything of the sequels. And while this was produced, way more of these than that Rey from the Rise of Skywalker for sure. This particular figure is very similar to me to the Heavy Infantry Mandalorian. Which, by the way, was not an exclusive. And it hit waitlist before it ever got in stock. And when you think of the armor, and you think of the Heavy Infantry Mandalorian, to me it's almost like 2 peas in a pod. And you have to wonder if this has the possibility to go the same way. And while you could still put 6 of Kylo in your cart, which doesn't necessarily always tell the tale, because I've seen items go on waitlist real quick. It depends on how hot the item is. Because one figure can catch up to another figure real quickly. And sometimes they're just trying to unload certain figures, so just put as many in as you want. And sometimes that they're looking to be able to sparse it out so other collectors have an opportunity to get it. There are several factors for that. But I think that the armor, I'm putting a yellow alert. You heard it here from 6 Scale Cantina on the armor. Aries, does that mean it's going to not get in stock? No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. It's an alert, not a guarantee. That's what alerts are. I think that there's a formula for this. And I think if this gets in stock, it's going to be like the Rey. It's only going to be in there for 3-4 weeks with the tag in stock. Yellow alert on this armor. It's going to go. And I think it's going to go before Kylo. But I wouldn't be surprised if Kylo goes after the recording of this video. It just may not have been a figure that has been on your radar. Both of these figures have a yellow alert. Let's go to some other ones. What other ones are you talking about, Aries, besides this? I'm going to talk about a figure that has kind of been forgotten to some. And let's go ahead and scroll down to it. And there it is. IG-11, which is still up for pre-order. And with this particular figure, when you try and put those in your cart, you can put up to 4. And it's very interesting. I believe that this IG-11 is going to hit waitlist sooner than we expect as well. And you see all 3 of these in the cart here. You've got Kylo Ren, you've got IG-11, you've got the armor. Okay, well, the armor, you could put 3 in your cart, IG-11, 4 in your cart, Kylo Ren, 6 in your cart. Obviously, the armor is going first, not so fast. It could be the complete opposite. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm waiting for Kylo to go. Rey's gone. People want the Kylo. People are starting to wonder, can we get the Kylo now? They can sell out real quick. It's going to sell out. The 2 figures I'm not hearing a lot of conversation about waitlist-wise. You've got to consider the armor, and you've got to consider IG-11, and you've got to remember what happened with the heavy infantry Mandalorian. And that's what I'm going to say about these 2. All 3 of these have yellow alerts. Let's go to some more. And let's go actually to the top of the list. Because the Incinerator Trooper did not ride number 1 or number 2 like the 501sts. The Remnant Trooper didn't ride number 1 or number 2 like the 501sts. The Death Trooper from the Mandalorian didn't ride number 1 or number 2 like the 501sts. And Commander Cody didn't ride number 1 or number 2 like the 501sts. Like the way how much time these are been. And you have to wonder, is it possible then that these 501sts are not going to sit in stock for the 3.5 months like those other troopers that I mentioned? And I think that there's some variables to consider. But at the end of the day, these are certainly at no point going to start becoming bottom feeders and get to where the Jet Trooper is, or where Quill is, or where the Blurgs are, or the quarter scale figures. So is it possible that these could be hitting waitlist? Like, could they hit waitlist next week? It is possible. Could it take 2 months? It is possible. Will it take 8 months? Not possible. So what is the moral or the tale of this story, Aries? Tale is, if you're looking for a 501st, and you have it budgeted for a 501st, and you're just thinking that these are going to stay in stock, you're probably going to be sorry. Because I believe that at any moment, these could hit waitlist. It's very interesting to me. Like I said, it could actually take 2 months. But it could actually take 2 minutes. Do I put a yellow alert on both of these 501sts, deluxe and non-deluxe? And I say yes. If you're looking for them, don't sleep on it. They're going to be gone within a blink of an eye. More spotchka, so I can keep giving you more thoughts. So as you can see, it's not just about Kylo. The Rey was the first of the bunch. And you can bet your bottom dollar if Rey was selling Kylo is selling. The 501st are selling. The Armorer is selling. IG-11 is selling. And they're not going to be very far behind joining the waitlist category with Rey, for sure. What about these Beskar versions of the Mandalorian? Well, even if you go to the non-deluxe version, let's go ahead and add it to cart. You put 6 in there. And is it possible that these are just going to hit waitlist before any of these others that are in here? And I say no. I really don't. I think that they made a ton of these. I think that these are going to be available through the holiday season. Would it surprise me if it happens tomorrow? No, because they are very, very, very high. Very, very, very high within this best-selling list. It's a marvel to me how high these are after the chrome-plated Mandalorian with the Pedro Pascal head sculpt is out. But the Mandalorian is still very, very hot. And that's the one that's available right now. But you also have to remember that these were like in here forever since they were out. Only dipped down. Only dipped down. Once these two came out, you got to keep that in mind. It is so many. It's going to be very, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. But with all that I talked to you about here, what does it mean for this figure? Let's hit pre-order on this. And you can add 6 of these in, just like you can with the 501sts. And with all the hype with the Clone Wars figures that are coming out right now, and you don't even have a Clone Wars show. You've got the Bad Batch, yes, and you've got all the Mandalorian and the upcoming content and all the excitement about the Book of Boba Fett and the excitement about Star Wars in general. But people have been looking for clones and Clone Wars figures for a long time. And when you compare the Corscant Guard to figures like the Incinerator Trooper from the Mandalorian, the Death Trooper from the Mandalorian, the Remnant Trooper from the Mandalorian, is this particular figure also within that 3-month span? And it could be. But is it possible that because you've got Ahsoka coming out and you've got Rex on the horizon and Anakin and the Clone Wars Mall, that these are going to go maybe a little quicker than those aforementioned other troopers from the Mandalorian? You have to keep that in mind. And I am officially putting a yellow alert on the Corscant Guard because I don't think it's going to be available very long, and mostly because the Ahsoka is going to be coming out, gosh, either before Rex or right on the heels of Rex. It's probably going to be 1 week after the other or 2 weeks, and I believe that it's possible that this week we could be seeing one of them. If not this week, it's the next week. Look, I already have the inside information. The Rexes are done. So it's coming. It's coming. And I just don't see these hanging out. I don't see the Corscant Guard hanging out for 3 months. It wouldn't surprise me. I just don't see it. Wow, that's a lot of other figures besides Kylo, isn't it, my friends? And then, to cap this off, before we go into the last segment of the show, what does this mean? What does it mean for Rex? And what does it mean for Ahsoka? Well, this is going to be one of the most highly sought out after figures within the secondary market once this hits waitlist. I've spoke about it a lot, and I'm putting a yellow alert on this, not because it's going to hit waitlist before it gets in stock. It's going to get in stock. It's just not going to be in stock for 3.5 months like Cody. It's going to be in there for about 4 to 8 weeks max. And to me, while you're waiting to make the purchase, you've seen the final production photos, you're satisfied. Okay, I mean to pick it up. Life gets in the way. Week goes by. Oh yeah, I got to do that. 2 weeks go by. Something else comes up in life. A month goes by. Be careful with this. I'm telling you right now, and certainly for sure, this is a future GRAIL. Just like Cody is marching its way to becoming a GRAIL. And what about this figure? Forget about it. Forget about it. We talked about it as well with the panel on Live and Raw from this past Friday. This special live show from this past Friday that I had. Go back and watch it if you haven't yet. But this is GRAIL City. And it's not going to be as many of these as you think. And this one also will have a yellow alert, because this will not sit in stock for very long either. Same scenario. Anyway, let's go ahead and go to a couple of other things here on the market value chart show at 6scalecantina.com. And let's look at a couple things here that I've always getting questions on. Aries, how is this figure doing? And they're asking me about Cody. Well, here's an ongoing, and this ties right in, and this is how I'm going to wrap this up. This figure had one of the antennas come off, broken, and has been glued back on, and has damage. And is still getting $325 with 21 bids, with 52 watchers trying to get a bargain, baby. And when it comes to figures of this magnitude, not all, but many collectors don't want to know their Cody is broken and glued back together in some spots. This tells the tale of just how real this is within the secondary market. And again, I've pointed this out on many episodes about how an average is an average, so sometimes below and sometimes above. And you can see a recent one from Cody here. And just back from September 19th with 15 bids, $405. Another great seller, all 100% positive, near 400. But, you know, one of the scary things with this is not even open. Just, here you go. Which seems like, oh, this is perfect. It's brand new. But a lot of times people want to see it outside of the box, know that it comes with the shipper box, you know, if it has any damage in there or whatnot. And still went for $405. And you have to wonder, how high can this figure go? And the one thing I will tell you to answer that question with something else is, wherever it goes, you can take Rex, put Rex with it. And I'm telling you right now, when it comes to Rex, if it's a figure that you want, absolutely do not sleep on it. And there's going to be more multiples bought of that one than this one for sure. Please go ahead and hit that like button if you enjoyed the content. And please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I so very much appreciate your support. Again, I will be live on the Man of Hot Collectibles show. It's his turn this Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. You don't want to miss that. But I will also be live back on Saturday at 6 p.m. every other week. And this week, 6 p.m., the Market Value Chart Show live. You absolutely don't want to miss that this coming Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Looking forward to hanging out with you all for sure. Also, if you like what you heard here and you would like some expanded analysis and some heightened thoughts and some crazy unboxings and some super cool insider videos, you may want to consider becoming a Cantina insider. I'm going to pause here for a second and give you a small little preview of some of the things you could expect on that. Come on, I go out on a limb with this freaking Bail Organa. I need an answer, Wizard.
The Wizard, you're out of time. The Wizard is about to die. Farewell, Larry.
Wizard! Can you taste it? Can you smell it, baby? Can you smell what the Hot Toys Wizard is cooking? Come on. Goodness gracious. Pull this up from Lewis Morin. Let's go, people. Curious of Aries will be wearing a wetsuit. Already changed out of 10 of them. So, goodness gracious. I might take another dive later. Baby. We're live, so I got to say it like this. I don't always buy coffee out, but when I do, I buy from 6 Scale Cantina. Stay thirsty, my friends. All right, well, listen, the Hot Toys Wizard is calling me. Let me get on the phone with him, Rex. Hot Toys Wizard, what's going on? Everyone's trying to talk about Bespin Luke. But we already know about that. Okay, that's good. Yeah. But what about... He hung up on me. All right, again, if that's something you're interested in, click the join button, see what it comes with. You may want to consider joining. And you may want to consider joining our Facebook group. We have well over 500 members now. And it's so much fun. We talk about so many things from this channel and Star Wars Hot Toys and all Hot Toys. I have the link to our Facebook. You definitely want to go ahead and check it out. Also, you may want to follow me on Instagram. I got the link to my Instagram within the video description below. Sometimes I give some sneak peeks, some sneak videos of my collection, if you're looking into that, as we're leading up to an eventual collection video. I also put up when a live show's coming or a new show. Follow me on Instagram. I got the link within the video description below, along with all the social media that I participate in. It's all there. Remember, many of the truths we cling to depend greatly on our own point of view, which we're going to share this coming Friday at Dante's live show from the Man of Hot Collectibles at 9 p.m. Eastern. You don't want to miss that. I mentioned it in the beginning of this episode. It'll be his turn this Friday, and he's going to have a plethora of guests, including me. So book that on your calendars, and I will be back on Saturdays every other week, starting this Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern, the Market Value Chart Show live. So go ahead and book that on your calendars. I look forward to hanging out with you for sure. Stay thirsty, my friends.